Dear friends, good morning on Saturday the 13th of June. In the next series of daily updates, I'm going to look at the so-called farewell discourse in John chapters 14 to 17, the teaching that Jesus gave his disciples at the Last Supper on the night before he died. As an introduction, I'm going to focus on chapter 13 today, which sets the scene. The evening had gone badly from the start. The disciples had gathered with Jesus as arranged in the upper room, where the food was already ready. They looked around for the servant who would wash their feet, but seeing no one, they stretched out on the pallets around the low table. Then suddenly Jesus stood up, wrapped a towel around his waist, picked up a large bowl of water, and began to wash their feet. They were horrified. Respected teachers didn't behave like this. Typically, Simon Peter broke the embarrassed silence by objecting to what Jesus was doing. But Jesus insisted on washing their feet and told them that what he was doing, they would have to learn to do for each other. It was all deeply embarrassing. Who would demean themselves to wash other people's feet? The embarrassment was compounded by what Jesus said next. I tell you the truth, one of you is going to betray me. The disciples looked round at each other, dumbfounded. Each began to ask incredulously if the Lord had them in mind. It was John who asked the question directly. Lord, who is it? To receive the reply, it is the one to whom I give the bread when I have dipped it in the dish. Everyone stared at Jesus. No one spoke. With horror, they saw Jesus dip the bread in the wine and pass it to Judas. What you are about to do quickly, said Jesus. Judas had already made the arrangements. This was the final humiliation that pushed him over the edge. Having taken the bread, he got up and left. And chillingly, John says, and it was night. Now Jesus began to speak about his departure, about him being glorified and the need for them to love one another. They had no idea what he was talking about, except that it sounded ominous. Peter, as impulsive as ever, asked Jesus the question that was on everyone's lips. Lord, where are you going? Only to receive the reply that where he was going they could not follow. Peter, questioning why he could not follow when he was willing to lay down his life for Jesus, received the appalling prophecy, I tell you the truth, before the cock crows, you will disown me 3 times. It is to these disciples, embarrassed by the foot washing, horrified by Judas's betrayal, and incredulous by the prediction of Peter's denial, that Jesus now begins to speak. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. As he faces the agony of the cross, he is the one who ought to be troubled in spirit. Yet on this night, of all nights, when they ought to be encouraging and supporting him, Jesus ministers to them. And he ministers to us as well, as we're going to see in the next few days. So come with me as we listen to Jesus' teaching his disciples on the night before he dies. God bless you today.